Hey, I'm Shane Varco, the Executive Director of the Dalgarno Institute. Welcome to our Dalgarno Institute's no-brainer resiliency building sessions. Welcome back. We're up to part 2 of resiliency, feeling better but only getting worse. Building resiliency and strengthening your capacity. I'm going to start off this session with some fast facts. Number 1, 85% of what we worry about never happens. True. Number 2, of 15% of the worries that did happen, 79% of the subjects discovered that either they could handle the difficulty better than expected or that the difficulty taught them a lesson worth learning. That's a really important one. Keep that in your fact finder in your journal. Overall, 97% of worries are baseless and result from an unfounded pessimistic or negative perception, not reality. Number 4, these baseless worries are a major source of stress, tension, and cause of exhaustion, not only for the mind, but also for the physical body. That comes out of that study from the Cornell University we looked at in our previous session. So, that was our fast facts. Our quote of the moment for today is from a world-renowned psychologist by the name of Rollo May. He was huge many years ago, and this is an excellent, insightful statement. He said, "A person can overcome anxiety to the extent that their values are greater than the threat." Just think about that for a minute. Really, really important and insightful statement. Remember we talked last time about our values, not just, what we like, but what we think is good and right and true, what's sustainable, what's defendable, what can hold up under pressure, what's factual, what's true, what's viable. They're really important things, and those things you practice and they work in your life. Now, again, that's part of your bungee rope, that's part of your resiliency script. And the better your value system, the stronger you are against anxiety, worry, insecurity, fear, those things that keep popping up. Very important insight. Keep meditating on it as we move forward. In this particular session, we're going to jump straight into our conversation starter because we want to bounce out of our last session's issues. You would have practiced some of those script building exercises we talked about last time, particularly around meditation rather than medication. So hopefully your breathing, your reflection, your narrative, your meditation, those things you're actually bringing to the table. But in this particular session, this conversation starter, we want to start focusing back on those stories, those narratives, those songs that we talked about last time. What song's playing in your head? So what story are you rehearsing? Remember those negative stories, that pessimism, that negativity, trying to shift those stories and those songs out. Today's conversation starter for the group, in your pair, in your team, in your class, whatever it may be. What are some of the new stories or songs that you have been rehearsing or ruminating over? Remember we talked about ruminating? It's not just having to think about it, it's really chewing it over and focusing on it, being intentional, reflecting and focusing. What has been helpful? And finally, what are you still struggling with? And how can you help each other get positive narratives into your head? So that's really important. So we're helping each other build that resiliency script and that bungee rope. Hopefully the significant adult in the room, the teacher, the coach, the mentor, the parent can help you in that space as well. But helping each other understand this and talking through those issues are really important. So bouncing out of our last session and bringing that into this conversation starter is a really good exercise right now. So how did you go with that conversation starter? Did you bounce out of the last session? Did you bring it together? Still lots more to talk about. I understand it's a big subject, and this is an ongoing process, guys. We're learning, we're growing, we're building our resiliency and building our bungee ropes together to help us be stronger and not just to bounce back, but to actually move forward. Now we want to close out this session with a video. It's an excellent video It's been around quite a while. Many of you may have already seen this, but I think it really encapsulates a lot of things we've been talking about and gives you a visual of some of the reasons why drug use as a coping mechanism is completely futile. It's very well done, it's subtle, but it's profound and it's poignant. So this is our how not to say yes to recipe messing drugs. Remember that recipe, the RECIPE. What drug use does in the short and long term is really destructive to your physical, your emotional, and to your mental well-being. Check this out and discuss it as a group when it's done.